and she said, we ask all the campers and counsellors to talk about their camp experience.
They go our separate ways. What is it exactly? How can I describe all that I discovered while I found inside? Something hard to find. Things that just right. It's more than peanut trees. It's more than summer breeze. The smell of rocks and water washing over me. It's more than forest fire. It's more than fishing wild.
I actually was the camp director of Merrywood from 1999 to 2004, so I directed camp for 6 years.
And I've worked at Camp Woodeden for 2 years now.
So I've never been to Woodeden, but I hear amazing things from both campers and staff who have worked and or attended as a camper to both. Why I kept going back to Merrywood was the water. I love water. I love water sports. So being able to share my love of kayaking to campers was an absolute plus. I also got to learn how to sail. I got to renew my canoeing skills, which is a plus, at least at Merrywood.
So I've always thought that the playful rivalry between the two camps was really funny and sort of silly, because honestly, comparing Merrywood and Woodeden is like comparing apples to oranges. Both camps are truly unique in terms of the incredible activities they offer, and at the end of the day, campers always have an amazing and unforgettable summer experience, regardless of which camp they attend. But that being said, after spending 6 summers there, my heart truly does lie with Merrywood. There's something inexplicably wonderful and perfect about spending the summer on the water. For listeners who aren't familiar with Merrywood, it's located on this gorgeous peninsula surrounded by the stunning Rideau Lake. And nothing can quite top sitting on the dock and watching the sunset over the water at the end of the day. And also from a purely practical perspective, the number of accessible day groups or camps that include adapted water sports is few and far between to the best of my knowledge. And Merrywood has been really successful in transforming what some might call a, quote, conventional overnight summer camp experience on a lake and adapting it for all abilities. And there's nothing quite like that, or there's nothing that can quite measure up to that, in my opinion.
Something about between us, without us knowing why. From that moment on, nothing that I do, the feeling of love would always be
I definitely feel that camp has impacted my life. I study music at school, and I was hoping to pursue a career in performance. But after my first summer at Woodeden, I saw what an effect these programs have, and what an effect these sort of um, music things and camp had for these campers. So it changed my career plan. I'm pursuing music therapy now because camp changed my life.
Absolutely. Merrywood changed my life and my career path and my personal views on inclusion and accessibility. Since camp, I went on to do a research master's in rehabilitation sciences, and now I'm in occupational therapy, both of which I wouldn't have done without camp.
100%. I would not be where I am today, nor the person I am today, without camp. Camp showed me that I was allowed to belong somewhere. Camp showed me that I was able to work. Camp was actually the longest place I've ever been employed, being employed for 10 summers in a row. I even flew down from Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, because camp was that important to me.
What are some of my favorite camp memories? That's a very tough one. I've always loved overnights. They're a lot of work to organize, but they're so much fun to get to, everybody being in canoes and then going up the locks and camping out in tents together and being around the fire. Another favorite for me was always the Shadow a Programmer Day. So when I was the leadership programmer, my LITs, my leaders in training, would shadow different programmers' staff for the afternoon. It was always great to see them take on leadership roles at camp.
What are some of my favorite camp memories? I don't think I can do that justice. I have many camp memories, and the most important things is that memories for me are what keeps me going and gives me direction for my future. So I rely on memories to remember what's important, to unite people, and to spur me on and energize me to take initiative. I was so fortunate. I have made some beautiful friends at my 14 years of working at Easter Seals camps. Little moments like when we had the fireworks show off a barge at the end of the point, one-on-one time that I had with particular campers when they were sick up in the health hut, speaking to parents on the phone and reassuring them that their children were okay.